Welcome back. So I've moved from anger, now I'm talking about love. As you can see on the screen, I'm reading from a book. It's a national bestseller, and the title of the book is Salvation, Black People and Love, and the author is Bell Hooks. I normally like to read something about a biography before jumping into the person's work, but the books I needed from the library weren't available, so they're sending for them, and I'll get them later, and I'll create a biography after, so it's going to be in a different order. I am reading from the introduction, and the title of the introduction is Love is Our Hope, and my title is Love as Resistance, right? So love and death were the great mysteries of my childhood. When I did not feel loved, I wanted to die. Death would take away the trauma of feeling unwanted, out of place, of always being the one who does not fit in. I knew then that love gave life meaning, but it disturbed me that nothing I heard about love fit with the world around me. At church, we learned that love was peaceful, kind, forgiving, redemptive, faithful, and yet everybody seemed troubled in their relationships. Even as a child, I pondered the gap between what folks said about love and the ways they behaved. As a young woman hoping to find love, I was disappointed in the relationships I witnessed and troubled by my own efforts. Even though I was coming into womanhood at a time of free love and open marriage, I dreamed of being with a partner for a lifetime. My visions of marriage had been shaped by the relationship between my maternal grandmother and grandfather, who had been together for more than 75 years. An essay I wrote about their relationship titled, quote, Inspired Eccentricity, end quote, described how different they were. And yet there was in their relationship what therapist Fred Newman calls, quote, radical acceptance, end quote. They had the curious blend of togetherness and autonomy that is needed in healthy relationships, but difficult to find. I have not found it, even though I keep searching. From my college days to present, most folks I encounter consider it foolish and naive of anyone to want to spend a lifetime with a partner. Again and again, they point to the divorce rates and continual breakups among gay and straight couples as signs that spending a lifetime with someone is just not a realistic desire. Cynically, many of them believe that couples who remain together for more than 20 years are usually unhappy or just coexisting. That's certainly true of many marriages. My parents have been together for almost 50 years, but have not managed to create a happy household. But there are couples who find it sheer bliss to spend a lifetime with one another. Their bonds are just as emblematic of what is real and possible as the reality of ruptured and broken bonds. I learned from watching my grandparents that sustained, joyous commitment in a relationship does not mean that there are no down and difficult times. In my first book on love, All About Love, New Visions, I continually state that love does not bring an end to difficulties. It gives us the strength to cope with difficulties in a constructive way. That book, like this one, is dedicated to Anthony, with whom I've had and continue to have long discussions about the nature of love. A 30-something guy whose parents separated when he was a boy. He has no vision of a relationship lasting for a lifetime. In fact, the idea seems, quote, weird to him. Only by experience is he learning to trust that lasting bonds are to be cherished and valued. All love relationships flourish when there is sustained commitment. Constancy in the midst of change strengthens bonds. In both romantic relationships and friendships, I enjoy going through changes with loved ones, watching how we develop. To me, it's similar to the delight and awe that loving parents feel as they witness children go through myriad changes. Having a long-time partner who both participates in our growth while also bearing witness is one of love's profound pleasures. I celebrate lasting love in All About Love, New Vision, a work that generally discusses the meaning of love in our culture and what we should know about love. Lecturing in public schools during my tour for that book, I was continually distressed to hear black children of all ages express their deep conviction that love does not exist. Time and again, I was shaken to my core hearing young black folks emphatically state, quote, "There's no such thing as love," end quote. In All About Love, I define love as a combination of care, knowledge, responsibility, respect, trust, and commitment. Calling out the extent to which our nation has become cynical about love, it should have come as no surprise that the pervasive lovelessness I talk about is not only most deeply felt in the hearts of children, but that it would be among those groups of children, black girls and boys, who are collectively disenfranchised, neglected, or rendered invisible in this society, that I would hear these sentiments frankly acknowledged. When asked about anti-racist struggle by white critics who did not understand the need for militant protest, playwright Lorraine Hansberry often replied that, quote, "The acceptance of our present condition is the only form of extremism which discredits us before our children," end quote. Standing before black children who tell me there is no love in clear, flat, dispassionate voices, I confront our collective failure as a nation and as African Americans to create a world where we can all know love. This book is a response to this crisis of lovelessness. It dares us to courageously create the love our children need to be whole, to live fully and well. Some deep stuff. I really enjoyed reading this. And also sad stuff when, if she's defining love as care, knowledge, responsibility, respect, trust, and commitment, when children say they don't see this, they don't see care, they don't see people trying to get to know each other, they don't see responsibility, they don't see respect, they don't see people behaving in ways that are worthy of trust, and they don't see commitment. That's a real sad world to live in. That's a real sad way to model a life for our children and for ourselves. It must be awful to live this way. So tell me what you think. I'm going to stop here and I'm going to continue in another video with still keeping up with the introduction. Thanks for listening.